Disappointed in the loss, obviously. Congratulations to Miami of Ohio. Did a great job. Chuck, congratulations to him. He's got a really good football team. And very similar to what we're trying to be. You know, they're playing good defense, and they protect the ball on offense, and they wait for you to mess up, and they don't beat themselves. And that's what we're doing better, but we're still not there yet. But proud of our guys' this fight, and fight until the end on defense. But obviously we got a lot of things to clean up as a football team. And it starts with me being a better coach, being a better head coach, and then making sure our coaches put our guys in position to be successful. And then our guys got to perform when they get the opportunity to. But we'll learn from it, and we'll get better. Open up for questions.
Anybody got questions for Coach? Dave?
What was it, Coach, about your pass rush today? Because that was one of the positives that you saw in your defense. How were they able to disrupt Brett Gabbert?
Yeah, you know what? They did it they had a great week of practice. You know, they came back after the Fresno State game, and the guys came out there. They worked really, really hard, and you saw that in this game. You know, we put them in some messed up situations a little bit on offense, and, you know, we faked the punt. We gave them the short field there, and they came up and held them to 3, which was really good. So there's some positives out of this game, and what our defense did, really, it came down to about 3 plays on defense, where they gave up big plays where a guy just didn't have great technique and they got beat, you know, and then one was a spectacular catch by them, you know. So there'll be some things that Coach Duggan cleans up for sure, but there's some really good individual performances on defense that we'll make sure that we highlight, and we'll get those guys in more positions to make plays. Yep.
Coach, on the touchdown was called back. Was the slot on the line of scrimmage? Is that what the expectation?
Nope, they said the offense. So when you're an RPO team, which we are, this is the other side of it, they said the O-lineman was down the field. So they called it back. I'm going to watch it for sure, but that's the explanation they gave me. But that's what an RPO is. So they've got to make sure they don't cross that 5-yard threshold, you know, and looks like we did in their opinion. So they threw the flag there. But we'll look at it. We'll look at it for sure.
You got Kershawn McCray really involved in the offense. What was it like in practice for him? Just leading up to this afternoon.
Yeah, well, he's our best player on offense. You can't hide that at all. And we said we got to get him the ball. And then Jamil Gardner has shown some progress as well, too. And they're both really young players. So how can we highlight them? How can we keep them involved so they don't go 4 or 5 plays without touching it? So that was our game plan, and I think we did a decent job with that, you know. But we got to do even more, honestly, because they're 2 dynamic players. And I think you see that when you watch them play. They can be impact players in this league. You know, we need more guys to step up like that.
Mike?
How big the touchdown called back, that looked like it could have been a big momentum shift for you guys. I mean, how big was that?
You know what? It's a big play, but in the same breath, we got to know how to respond. That happens. It's college football. You don't control the outcome. You got to play the next play. They got a couple of things that happened to them. They got called back, and they were able to still stay on the field. So that's a major teaching moment for our team. Like, yeah, this happened, guys. Move on, play the next play. Because the next play, we were close to having another big play. So we got to be able to move on and not beat ourselves.
Mike threw the ball 30 times today. Can you talk about sort of opening up the passing game for him, and then what you kind of saw for him throughout the game?
Yeah, you know, we knew that they do a good job stopping the run. They do a really good job of loading up the box, so they give you some advantages in the pass game, and we took advantage of them the best we could, you know. But like anything, when you get to a certain yard line, now the field shrinks, so you can't throw the deep balls anymore, the concepts down the field, so you have to be able to run the ball. And we didn't do a good enough job. When we got to that 40 to 40-yard line, you know, we didn't do a good enough job executing. That's a play where you literally flip the field, and we never did that. We got behind the sticks with sacks, with negative runs, and we just can't do that.
Hey, Coach, going looking ahead to next week for practice, is there a certain aspect of today's game that we want to work on, getting ready for Ohio, or is it just going to be a whole team thing? You know what?
Like, I'm interested to look at, we call it 78%, because we believe if you win the explosive play battle, the missed tackle battle, and then the ball, you have a 78% chance of winning the game. It's kind of an NFL stat. I'm looking at which one of those areas we failed at. I think it's probably the explosive plays. So I want to see why that was. You know, was it just technique? Was it us not throwing the ball where it needs to go? Was it sacks, whatever? And see if we can fix that and find some things in practice to address that. Because there's a lot of other, like, really good stuff in that game. And I really think when I watch it, it's probably going to come down to about 10 plays where they made the play and we didn't. And our team's got to understand that we have a very, very, very young football team. And I hate to say that, but we do. So they've got to touch the stove and get burnt a little bit to know that, you know what, you can't do this or you can't do that, because it's really, really critical. And after the game, I told them, I said, guys, everything matters in a football game when you're playing a team with like talent. And today they made more plays and they didn't beat themselves up like we did. And we've got to learn from that and get better at it. Because next week, I'm just telling you, Miami or Ohio's a really good football team. But from a talent standpoint, we'll be right there with them now. Can we make sure that we don't beat ourselves again to give ourselves a chance to win at the end of the game?
the team struggled a little bit on third down. Was there anything you saw specifically from Miami's defense on those downs? Anything you're gonna like fix in the future?
My guess is it's going to come down to pass protection. We got to be better in pass protection. They were twisting and stunting, and we did not do a good job of passing it off, and we got to do a better job with that.
Coach, it looked like you tried to go max protection on some stuff, and the receivers just couldn't get open. With the 2 and 3 man routes, does that become problematic?
Yeah. So, yeah, we tried to give ourselves some time, and basically they were having coverage there, and that's what you do. When you max protect, they can get into coverage, and they could make sure you're double covered in most spots. So, again, we've got to do a better job up front. But I get why Coach Johnson did that. You know, he's got to get the ball off, and you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, right? So we got to do just a better job of protecting up front, and we'll address that this week. But if we're going to throw the ball 30 times, our offensive line got to know the job that they've got to do up front to make sure we can get the ball off. And they will. Again, a very young group that's got to get more experience and keep playing.
Dane, you have a question? No?
When it came to your defense making really big stops on third down, holding them to field goals that could have been touchdowns, they really seemed to kind of have an energy. They did their little muddy thing, and it was so cute. Can you tell me about what having an electric defense like that does for your team?
Yeah, I still believe that elite defenses win championships, and that's what we're building on defense. And Coach Duggan's been around those for a long time, so I think they play with his energy, you know, and that's what you see there. And the thing I love about our defense is whenever they've struggled in a game, they've come back typically and responded with a pretty good game, you know. So hopefully they can keep it going that way. We got a lot of talent on defense, in my opinion. It's just being able to not give up the big plays. You know, they had the big catch, and then we misfit a run that got out. You take that run out of it. We rushed for 76 yards. I mean, that's outstanding. You know, so it's giving up the big plays that we can't do, and then picking the ones they throw us. They threw us a couple that we didn't pick off that we got to do. But I love our defensive energy. And, you know, I've got to get the offense on the same page with them.
Coach, their special teams have changed the possession. Their punter was unbelievable to me. That almost puts additional pressure on your offense to get 2 more first downs in a drive.
Yep, their punter's good, and we knew that coming in. And he flipped the field. I mean, he controlled the field, and we had a hard time crossing the 50 because what they're doing. And we were playing a good defense, and Chuck knows what he's doing over there. He got a really good defense. He's pinning us down there and saying, you know what, bend but don't break, and they never broke. When a big play happened, we got a first down. They came back and responded. And I think our defense did the same, but there was a couple times we gave up really big plays that flipped the field, and we just can't do that. So.
I know you mentioned pass protection, Coach, but going into this week in practice, what are some other areas of the field that you're looking for growth so you can try and turn it around against one?
Yeah, you know, I'd like to see us run the ball better. Now, this team made it really hard to do that with how they play defensive schematically, so we got to just be better and find creative ways to run the ball. You know, and then, you know, Mike, he played solid, played better. He didn't have to turn the ball over, but like we had a couple deep balls that he's got to hit. He's got to hit. It's critical because it changes the game, and he's got to do a better job when he scrambles, keeping his eyes down the field. But again, he'll learn to play better. The thing I love about Mike is a competitor, you know, and he kept competing all the way to the end of that game.
Yeah. Last call for questions for Coach. All right, thank you guys. We'll see you at 11:30 on Monday.
Appreciate you. Go Flashes, King Grip.